darling. Hi, Aunt Karen. And how are you holding up through all this coronavirus pandemic? Are you guys hanging in there? Yeah, we're hanging in there. It's been really, really hard just staying home constantly. You know, working from home, having the kids do school from home, all the things. Between the coronavirus and virtual school, a lot has changed for families in the past year. Not only do parents have to worry about protecting our kids from this really scary virus, but now we've also added teacher to our plate. Stay tuned and we'll talk it out. Hey guys, I'm Missy Yondo from Slumber and Bloom. I'm your mom life bestie, pediatric sleep consultant, and potty training coach. I love sharing tips and tricks about all things motherhood, but specifically about baby and toddler sleep and potty training. If you love these kinds of videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. A couple weeks ago, I started really talking about the honest truth about parenting during a pandemic. And I had an unbelievable response from other parents who are dealing with all of the same stresses that I feel like I'm dealing with. So I really wanted to dive in today and really just talk these things out. If you're new here, I am a mom of 3 kids, ages 4, 5, and 7, and I'm running a business, and also I have a husband and I have to keep my my house, you know, from falling apart. At first, when everything was new, it was totally fine. We were more than happy to stay home. The kids, they don't really love getting up early. They don't love being rushed out the door. So staying home was actually kind of a breath of fresh air. And luckily, we live in Rochester, New York, and when the whole quarantine hit, it was starting to be spring, so we could go outside and we can enjoy the weather, and then summer came and fall was fine, and we've had a pretty mild winter up until now. But lately, I feel like this whole pandemic is just really starting to affect people, not just my family, but people all over the world. And I really wanted to talk about some of the hard things that we've been dealing with, but also I wanted to talk about some of the benefits. I am the type of person who always looks for the silver lining. I always try and find the positive spin on things, and I always try and, you know, let parents know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and, you know, I'm always trying to find the good. So I am going to talk about some of the crappy things, but I'm also going to talk about the good things. So obviously, it goes without saying that protecting our children is really stressful. If any of my kids got the coronavirus, and you know, I am pretty confident that they would be fine, but if they ever got it and they weren't fine, I would obviously have this huge sense of guilt for the rest of my life. And that also goes hand in hand with if our kids contracted this virus and then unknowingly passed it on to a family member who may not be able to handle it as well. So the next one is kind of a pro and a con, but being together 24/7. I firmly believe that every individual needs alone time. Not only do we need alone time, but we need together time with other people. I don't think that I should be around the same 4 people all the time, every day, 365 days a year. If anything, this whole pandemic is a huge experiment in socialization and human needs for socializing, and not only socializing, but for physical affection. I'm a very affectionate person, and I love hugs, I love cuddles, I like all my friends. Like if I haven't seen a friend in a while, like I'm the first one to jump on you and give you a hug. And being in a pandemic and not being able to do that is really, really hard for me. But it's also really hard to be around my kids and husband 24/7 because sometimes people just need a break from people. So that in itself has been really stressful. And then, of course, adding on being our kids' teachers is not a walk in the park. Now, that's coming from a previous teacher. I used to be a teacher, and I feel like I can effectively and accurately teach my children what they need to know at these grade levels. I have a preschooler, a kindergartner, and a first grader. So I feel like I can teach them all the things that they need to know, but it's really hard when they don't want to do it and they have to do what their teachers are telling them to do when they need to do it. And there's a line that needs to be drawn between me being their teacher and me being their mother. The next thing I wanted to talk about is how there is no outlet for these kids. They have been really cooped up all winter, and even though they're going outside to play, they're really only outside for 15 to 20 minutes because it's like 0 degrees outside where we live right now. So they, you know, start running circles around the inside of the house, and, you know, they start playing these ninja games or these fighting games or whatever they're playing, and then someone gets hurt. And it just ends up in a battle or some kind of fight, and it can be avoided if we could go outside or get their energy out elsewhere. But with that being said, running a business has been very difficult. I will not sugarcoat it, but very difficult with the kids home all the time. I am finding myself staying up really late working and then dragging myself out of bed the next day to try and get the kids breakfast before their school starts, which I'm not even gonna lie, like 4 out of 5 days a week they are eating breakfast on their first call, which they're not supposed to do. But I mean, I gotta pick my battles here. It has been hard running a business during a pandemic, and when a lot of my consultations are video calls, I have kids popping in and out of the calls, and that's not something that I would like in my business, because even though, you know, all the families are very understanding and a lot of people are in the same position, I don't feel like that's professional on my part, so I try and not do that. But I mean, sometimes I can't control it, which kind of brings me to my next point, is that if I know that I'm gonna be on a call for longer than 15 or 20 minutes, then I will turn on the TV. And once you turn the TV on with my kids, and I'm sure it's like this with a lot of kids, it's really hard to turn it off. Even if you are giving them warnings or saying at the end of this show, we're turning it off, you still get that initial like whiny detox, like, don't turn off the TV. But we have to. So the increased TV time and the decreased socialization is driving me bonkers. But those are like so many bad things, and I want to be done complaining. So I want to talk about the good things and the positive things that have come out of a pandemic. So I know that I said that this was like a double-edged sword with being together more. I am the kind of person who always like struggled with sending my kids to school, because I'm like, 5 days a week, full day, that's so much. I want them home with me. And now they're home with me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they are home all the time. But I am happy to have them home, and we did choose to keep them home 5 days a week. So they are in full remote learning school, but that was by our choice so that we could be with them more. I also love the fact that we're able to kind of keep our kids young a little bit longer. They're not on the school bus kind of being corrupted by older kids learning naughty language, which they're learning enough from the television anyways. But my oldest is 7, and he totally went through this like anti-cuddling, no kissing phase, and he is so far back into the come snuggle me in my bed in the morning when he wakes up and giving me kisses all day long and hugs all day long, and I could not be more excited about that. So I really feel like we're kind of keeping them young and innocent a little bit longer. Another positive thing is that my kids are playing so much. I am an advocate for learning through play, and it's kind of one of the reasons why virtual school is very hard for me, because I feel like they're in front of the computer a lot. But when they are not in front of the computer, I really encourage them to play and to use their imaginations. And it's okay to be bored, because that means that they need to find something to occupy themselves, which is wonderful, but also makes it really hard for them to get their independent schoolwork done because they just want to play. But I love to see them play, and especially watching them play together and make up games together. It is so precious. Another positive thing, so my husband has been working from home this whole time. So another positive thing is that I can run out during the day if the kids are done with their schoolwork and they're kind of just playing, or after 3 o'clock we let them watch a movie. So I can run out to the store. I have gone to the sauna. I've gotten facials. Like, I have kind of been spoiled in that way, where I can be like, I'm gonna run here, I'm gonna run there, and I can go out and run a few errands and kind of catch a break for myself. And I do think that that's really important, and that is kind of like one of the only reasons why I'm slightly still sane during all of this, because I'm able to go out and catch my breath. And on the same note, I am loving not having to get the kids rushed out the door to get them all buckled in the car to bring them to school, or to rush to the bus stop and shove breakfast down their face and put their lunches all together. I'm really happy to not be in that typical hustle and bustle of going to school. I haven't even really been in that hustle and bustle for very long because my oldest is only in first grade. So I really only had half a year of the bus stop struggle. But my kids like to wake up slow, and so do I. So when we have to like wake up early, get on the bus and do all the things like to get fully ready for the day in like 10 minutes in the morning, it's just like, it's crazy. But I am really happy to have them home and not have to be on that kind of schedule. I also surveyed a ton of parents in my social network and asked them what their biggest struggle about the coronavirus has been. So I am going to put that in my blog post, and I will put a link to that blog in the description box down below, and I hope that you guys check it out. If you guys have any specific struggles, or maybe things that you are actually loving about, I mean, nobody's loving the coronavirus, but loving about this time of just kind of slowing down and going back to basics, I want you to leave me a comment down below and let me know your take on everything. How has the past year been for you? But definitely check out the other videos on my channel. I talk a lot about babies and toddlers and sleep and potty training and all things motherhood. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye!